Okay, so today is Wednesday, 4th of December 2024. Time is about 10 a.m. Air temperature 22 degrees centigrade, about 72 degrees Fahrenheit. Probably get up to about 25 degrees centigrade this afternoon. So I'm in a subtropical location. Sun is shining. Still autumn, but it's just getting towards now the end of the autumn breeding season. Summers are very hot, lots and lots of rain, very heavy rain, and during that time sort of MEDAKA usually stop breeding, particularly anyway mine stopped breeding, but they start again in about October when the weather gets cooler, and there's far less rain. However, in my experience, the number and frequency of eggs produced in the autumn is usually less than in the spring, and I think that's because in the spring, even if it's cool, the day length is getting longer, which stimulates breeding, and in the autumn, day length is getting shorter, and so that perhaps in the cooler weather of autumn with shorter day length, not so many eggs are produced. And I've also found that, again in my experience with my MEDAKA, different strains of MEDAKA can vary quite a bit in whether or not they produce any eggs, or whether they produce a few, or whether they produce a lot, and the frequency. And as I said, I think that's because the day length overrides, the shorter day length overrides the fact that maybe it's still quite warm. And I think because the average day-night temperature dropped below 20 degrees centigrade last week for several days, as of this moment, all of the MEDAKA have stopped producing eggs. It may be, if there's a current warm spell, if that warm spell continues for a few days, despite decreasing day length, they might start, one or two MEDAKA might still produce a few eggs now and again. But I think probably, even if they do start producing eggs, for some of the MEDAKA, I've got more than enough fry already. Others, maybe only very, very few eggs. So I might collect those eggs if they actually appear during these warmer periods in December. But I'll add that by towards mid-January, temperatures, average day-night temperatures might get down below 15 degrees centigrade, down to maybe 10 degrees centigrade. So that's about 6 weeks from now. So any eggs I collect now, the fry will hatch out, and they won't be very big in about six weeks' time, and they might not survive those sorts of temperatures outdoors without any heating. So any eggs I collect now, probably I've got to put into some heated tanks I have under cover. I really want to avoid that if I can. So perhaps to indicate how, in my experience, different strains of MEDAKA only produce a few eggs, lots of eggs, or maybe no eggs at all in autumn, because I think they're affected by the shorter day length even in warmer temperatures. I'll just quickly go through and talk about what happened with some of the strains I had over the autumn period. So I'll set down, which is easier. So here are Yozakura. A lot of eggs every day for about 2 weeks, and then nothing for maybe a couple of weeks now. In here, there's some red and white. Only a very few eggs, very occasionally. At the moment, they're not so happy with the lower temperatures at night, and they just stay down towards the bottom of the tub. They're starting to come out now because the sun is warming it up. Here are my gold or yellow lame. They produce a moderate amount of eggs most days for about 3 weeks, and again, not recently. Let me move my chair. So here there's a type, I think, type of Miyuki I've got. They're producing sort of slightly longer fins on this one. So I try and breed them separately. They produced a moderate amount of eggs nearly every day. You know, sometimes up to 10, sometimes 4 or 5. Here's what I call shine. I don't know really what proper strain they are. Just some I got from a mixed group of MEDAKA, and again, they take a long time to come out in the sun. Usually sink to the bottom overnight, even though temperature is still maybe 17, 18 degrees centigrade. Lots of eggs most days. And up there, I have some orange. No eggs whatsoever for the whole autumn period. These in here are the black orochi. A lot of eggs most days since maybe mid-October. I'll say they stopped producing eggs after a cool period of last week. These 3 tubs here, they've got duplicates or mixture of MEDAKA, and then we get to these, which are Miyuki. Maybe have blue tinge now and again. They've been producing a moderate amount of eggs every 2 or 3 days. It's always, well, that's fine. That's probably about average for what MEDAKA appear to do in my location during the autumn. So I'll just finish up showing the hatching area. Doing a partial water change. You know, I have these reservoirs of water up the top, small bit of airline tube with a valve at the bottom, and the water goes in that end and then overflows out through there. It's an easy way to do it. I just leave it. As long as I fill up the reservoirs with water, just self-watering if you like. And probably the easiest fry to see are these in this container here. These are black orochi. Can't see them that well because this time there appears to be a lot of algae developing, green water, which is supposed to be good for fry. I don't really agree with that, but it doesn't do them any harm unless it gets too thick. So orochi, Miyuki, some more Miyuki, and in there's some gold lame. But again, they're very difficult to see in all this green water. I've already taken some of the larger fry out so they don't bully the small fry. So yeah, I have quite a lot, especially I've got quite a lot of black orochi. Probably I'll put some in my pond when they get bigger. Okay.